Zimbabwe's economy is expected to shrink by 4.5% this year. Finance Minister Mthuli Cube attributes this to the COVID-19 pandemic and the severe drought the country is experiencing. Delivering the midterm review budget, the minister said the inflation levels were at over 700%.
In the initial budget earlier this year, Zimbabwe's finance minister had projected a hopeful 3% for the country's economy.
From the beginning of 2020, the economy was confronted with a number of shocks from multiple fronts, with major ones being the following. One, climate shocks in the form of the 2019-2020 drought and cyclone Idai. Two, energy challenges. The power outages have been obvious to all. Number three, currency volatility. And number four, the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's why I'm dressed this way. Drought in particular affected agriculture, the water and energy sectors, with spillovers to the rest of the economy.
Now with COVID-19 almost completely halting economic activity, the projections were reworked.
To a projected minus 4.5% of GDP growth in 2020. This is against our initial budget projection of plus 3% growth. So I repeat, minus 4.5% as opposed to 3% initially projected. The economy is, however, anticipated to recover to record GDP growth of 7.4% in 2021 before moderating to around 5% thereafter.
But the regression cannot be solely blamed on the pandemic. The country was already battling chronic food and fuel supplies, shortages of currency, as well as hyperinflation. According to the minister, some relief is expected by year-end.
Inflation is expected to gradually decline in the second half of 2020 from the peak of 785.5% in May 2020 to 300% in December 2020, responding to current monetary and fiscal policy interventions.
Thank you,
The projected annual inflation is consistent with reducing the month-on-month inflation from around 31.7% in June 2020 to about 5% in the last quarter of 2020.
The Zimbabwean markets have not yet reopened after government shut them down, claiming some activity on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange was economic sabotage. But now there's plans to launch a securities exchange in Victoria Falls to attract foreign investments.
On the Victoria Falls Securities Exchange, BFEX, Mr. Speaker, the 2019 National Budget Statement highlighted government's intention to set up an offshore financial services center as part of efforts to develop the financial services sector through provision of opportunities for global investment. To this end, government is launching the Victoria Falls Securities Exchange in order to drive foreign investment into the country.
While the minister seemed hopeful at economic recovery, it's going to be a mammoth task. Economists estimate more than 60% of the economy is fueled by the informal sector, and with the current climate, the desired results may be hard to come by. Noma Polani, SABC News.